Hello everybody, it's Dusty Sage with MyChat.com here at Disneyland. Actually, we're in a galaxy far, far away. And you know what else has come from far, far away? This fella right here. This is my good friend, AJ.
Hello.
Who is also a theme park blogger, and he lives in Australia.
Down under.
Down under. That's right. And we're going to talk a little bit about the chances of perhaps they're building maybe a Disneyland in Australia, in the outback somewhere. Maybe. We'll see. We'll talk about it. Could happen. We are here in Galaxy's Edge for no particular reason at all. We're going to turn this camera around. We're going to take you through the park. We're going to look at some Christmas decor. It's the very jolliest time of the year. We're just about to block out all of the annual pass holders for the remainder of the season. On the 20th, all of the Dream key holders will be blocked out. And then the parks will be maybe enjoyable. We'll talk about that. We're also going to talk a little bit about some maintenance woes that have been going on here at Disneyland. You will see the evidence yourself. It's sort of sad. But here we go. I'm going to turn it around. Aha. Here we are over by the workstation on the light speeders. There's the sliver of the moon up there. We're going to go up and around. We have an interesting route that we're going to take you today. Yes, Evan, there is a new doggy. There's a new doggy relief area just at the entrance to Galaxy's Edge. In fact, I just took my photos for the Monday update. We will go that route so that you can see it. So we'll just swing through. We're not going to see too much of this end of Galaxy's Edge because we're going to swing through the marketplace and head towards Haunted Mansion. And the very exciting news of the week, doggy pee. AJ is filming because he's vlogging as we're going. He's just like me. If you see something, record something.
I will teach you one.
So AJ, thank you for joining me. You came all the way from Australia. You're spending a lot of time in the United States. You didn't just come straight to Disneyland. You were in Los Angeles, you went to Universal Studios,
Correct.
You're spending a few days here at Disneyland. Today is your actual birthday.
That's
Happy
correct.
birthday.
Thank you, Dusty.
And then you'll go to Vegas, you're going to go to Canada. It's not part of the United States, but it feels like it. And then you're going to go to New York. You'll spend Christmas in New York. And then you're going to end up in Orlando at Walt Disney World.
That's
We'll
right.
have to do a second video to hear your thoughts about Disneyland and Walt Disney World and which is doing a better job right now. They will still have Christmas up at Walt Disney World into the first part of the year, so you'll get to see Christmas in both places. But so far, what are your thoughts on Disneyland at Christmas time?
As always, it's beautiful with the amazing traditional decorations, especially in Fantasyland sort of area. It's stunning. I always enjoy the parks at Christmas time. And I'm really happy to be back after quite some time. So any time to be at Disneyland is always a great time.
Well, it's not quite, it's funny because I grew up in the Midwest, so Christmas was cold, it was snowy. When I moved to California, it was hard for me because it felt a little too warm for Christmas, but where you come from, it's a lot warmer at Christmas.
It is very hot at Christmas. We generally celebrate Christmas by sitting in air conditioning, eating a hot European meal, and then jumping into the pool. And Santa wears shorts in Australia, so...
Right, because it's the middle of summer there. It's your summer.
And it's always sweltering, so I'll be spending Christmas somewhere cold for the first time, and I'm looking forward to Christmas making sense.
So somewhere cold, so this feels cold to you.
It's
You were wearing shorts yesterday.
I was.
So not exactly Christmassy. When you get to New York, though, it will be freezing cold and maybe even snowy, so that you'll have to tell me how that is. So as we're walking through Galaxy's Edge, folks, you have noticed all of the beautiful Christmas decorations here in Galaxy's Edge. being sarcastic because there's no Christmas decor whatsoever in Galaxy's Edge. Of course, it's a galaxy far, far away. But they did have Life Day in the Star Wars universe, and there was a Star Wars Christmas special. So it would be nice to see a walk around B. Arthur or an Art Carney.
I would be here for that.
A family of what are the Chewbacca characters? Really, Wookiees.
Yeah.
A family of Chewbacca's, a family of Wookiees dressed for Life Day. All of the weird holiday foods that they were making in B. Arthur's kitchen.
Watching those weird hologram
Yes,
videos.
hologram videos. But they could do something really fun for the holidays in Galaxy's Edge. They just choose not to. Oh, we were talking earlier about just the vast spaces of land. So, you know, as far as you can see here, there's essentially nothing. A little bit of queue space, a lot of lights and vegetation, but this land is unlike the rest of the park in that they really didn't plug a lot of things into it. And this is just about the only music you hear. As you start to exit, you hear this ethereal music, but it doesn't scream Star Wars. There's the train going over on the trestle, and here's where our first big news item of the day is going to be. Not the train or the trestle, but just underneath it, there were some construction walls up for a couple of weeks. And when they came down, there was this little patch of grass, little patch of heaven right here, which you can't quite make out. But here's the walkway, and here is the, yeah, you can't see it, folks, but it's there. It's grass. It's fake grass. It's not even real grass. And that's so your dog can potty. Little potty spot. I'm going to try and get it from a distance and see if you can see over there. No, it's still very dark. You can sort of see it from a distance. And that was, I think, needed because there's really nowhere for your dog to relieve themselves in Galaxy's Edge. Lots of service animals in the parks. This is a gorgeous part of the park, always one of my favorites along the river. We have the Hungry Bear restaurant on our right. It's a good spot to get a fuel rod, use the restroom. There's a restaurant up here with beautiful views of the river, and there is our Tom Sawyer's Island. Do they still have Tom Sawyer's Island in Tokyo?
They do. They do. They've still got canoes. They have rafts and canoes out to Tom Sawyer Island, and it's always a nice place to escape the really busy crowds that take up Tokyo Disneyland.
You know, we were just talking because AJ's home park, there is no park in Australia, no Disney park, his home park is Tokyo. And he writes a lot about the parks there, and they're extraordinary. And I think what's unique about them is how beautiful and well maintained they are, but
Correct.
They're not owned by Disney. They're owned by another company, the Oriental Land Company. And the CEO of the Oriental Land Company was just here last week at Disneyland, and they did a parade for him here.
Oh, wow.
Because he's turning the reins of the company over. But if you could just tell us a little bit, you know, how those parks feel more like Walt Disney's Disneyland than Walt's first park here in Anaheim does.
Absolutely. Tokyo Disneyland, the maintenance is impeccable. Everything is maintained to the highest quality. You won't see a burnt out light bulb. If anything breaks, if a prop breaks, it's gone immediately and it's replaced immediately. Their level of detail is next to none. Coming back to the original Disneyland, it has been interesting to notice some of the changes in the way that the park is being upkept. There has been quite a few signs that are on their way out, a lot of broken light bulbs, which is always disappointing to see, especially at Walt's original park.
And you really notice it because when you go to Tokyo Disneyland, it's pristine.
It is pristine.
Everything's well painted, light bulbs replaced before they burn out. Even the attraction maintenance here, a lot of attractions are down all the time. So throughout the day, over the last several days that you've been here, multiple big attractions will be down at the same time.
Correct.
That's uncommon in Tokyo.
That's correct. And when rides do go down during the day, it's for a very brief period of time, and they communicate that really efficiently. They let you know any delays that may happen to your attraction experience. Haven't exactly had that same experience here at Disneyland, unfortunately.
Yeah, you were mentioning to me how unnerving it is to be on an attraction that's been broken down for 15 minutes and you're on the attraction and there's no message telling you what's wrong or to sit still or anything.
Correct. It definitely can affect one's anxiety. As much as I love the opportunity to have a different look at an attraction, especially when work lights are on. I enjoy those geeky things, and I always love somewhat to be evacuated from rides just for my...
Right, from the nerdy fan perspective of wanting to know more.
But in terms of wanting to know more as a guest as to what's happening, there could be more done on the communication front.
I agree. So we walked right by Tiana's Bayou Adventure, just beyond Haunted Mansion here, without saying a word, because there's really nothing new for us to tell you. There is a long line right now, about 45 minutes. I'm going to zoom in a tiny bit so you get better light. There we go, a little better lighting if we're zoomed in one-to-one like that. If I'd have done that earlier, you'd have been able to see that doggy relief area. A long line here of people waiting for Haunted Mansion, and there's a big project that's going to happen that you'll probably miss out on the next time you visit.
Yeah.
There'll be something new here, but they're ripping out Magnolia Gardens and the exit area of Haunted Mansion, and they're building some new stuff. And all of that is needed because here we do something called Genie Plus Lightning Lane. And so many people use it, particularly at the holidays when we have a lot of tourists, that the standby lines are longer than ever, even longer than when we used to have Fast Pass. So, as a result, they need to make the lines longer, and Haunted Mansion is one of the many, many attractions. Something else you probably noticed, doesn't this look different and more open to you than you remember?
Absolutely.
There used to be another level up here that was all seating for standing room for Fantasmic. They ripped all of that out, also for similar reasons to Lightning Lane and more guests being in the park and the opening of Galaxy's Edge. They've made all of these changes to the park in the last decade to accommodate more people. And one thing we're still doing here that some of the other Disney parks aren't doing anymore is reservations.
Yes.
Park reservations, I think, have helped keep the insane crowding down. How have the crowd levels felt to you while you've been here?
It's certainly been busy, busy but manageable. I have been using Genie Plus on my trip to help manage those, as much as I desperately miss Fast Pass and the old days. Anything that you can use to manage your time, I'm here for, but I definitely miss Fast Pass. Interestingly enough, Tokyo Disneyland and Tokyo Disney Sea, while they did remove Fast Pass around the same time during the pandemic, they have not brought back Fast Pass or anything similar. They do, however, have a Premier Pass, which is an a la carte per ride premium service, which for a tourist can, if it's going to get you on the new Beauty and the Beast ride, you pay it to have those experiences.
Give us an idea on price range for that. So for one attraction, we do that, Rise of the Resistance,
Yes.
Mickey Minnie's Runaway Railway, Radiator Springs Racers, you pay extra if you want to ride those. They're not included with your Genie.
Correct.
So is it similar pricing to that or much higher?
It's similar pricing. It's about $20 US per attraction. There are different tiers, but yeah, it's. I do miss the days where things were not an upsell. and you could just enjoy running to the next attraction to find a fast pass and not having to pay so much attention to your phone.
But not having fast pass at all would make those lines move quicker.
Correct, yeah.
So is it a better experience without the fast pass?
That's the question, isn't it? We've had fast pass for so long, you get used to building it into your day.
Have you ever seen the little man at Disneyland?
I have last trip, and
Lives right there at the base of that tree. His house is decorated for Christmas.
oh wow, let's have a look.
Do you have the light on your phone? There is his house.
There he is.
You can see that there's a wreath and some garland. Very merry.
Oh, he's getting into the spirit.
Yes. Little Patrick.
But going back to your question, having everybody in standby, it does make things more fair.
Yeah.
And the line does move quicker because you don't have those competing queue types to cater towards.
Yep. There are some attractions here that have a standby line, a lightning lane, a disability line, and a single rider line, all in one attraction.
It's certainly a lot.
So we mentioned in the show notes that we were going to talk about problems with maintenance, and this is one attraction right here, Jungle Cruise, that is really suffering right now. Not only did a few weeks ago they have a structural issue that caused the attraction to shut down for a week, as they had to remove some of the props in the temple area, which is where the tiger is. They had something fall or crumble in the jungle. So those elements have been removed. The tiger is now in a giant wooden box. One of the big African elephants is missing. Squirt, the elephant that jumps up and tries to douse your boat with water, is missing. And the pool of explorers, the ones that are being chased up a pole by the rhinoceros, they're missing. So there's a lot of mechanical issues and structural issues in the jungle, but it's just one of the things that's been going on. I know that it's difficult when you pay up to $200 a day, and you had a one day, one park tickets.
Correct.
But you are also here at the holidays, which is the most expensive time. And today, for example, would be almost $200 for just Disneyland. That's a lot of money to come to a park and then find that attractions have lots of missing elements or broken down for large parts of the day. Yesterday, for example, Grizzly River Rapids was down maybe 2/3 of the day. Finally, in fact, you thought it was completely closed for the season.
I thought it was down for refurbishment.
Yeah,
so.
and it wasn't. It just looked that way. We're going to exit here through a little bit of Frontierland. You had mentioned earlier how you like the decor, the kind of rustic decor. I'm very curious how you all decorate for Christmas in Australia.
Well, our Christmas decorations are, well, speaking from personal experience, they're not as intricate as here in America. You guys really do take Christmas to the next level. Even just walking through the city, shopping malls, little things. So much Christmas. And it's really great to see people getting into the spirit. But with our climate, we don't generally have that many. You won't see many live Christmas trees. Lots of plastic Christmas trees in Australia.
Well, all of the trees here at Disneyland are fake. Not these trees, but all the Christmas trees. This is a great spot. So we're just enjoying the view here. I'm showing off one of my favorite spots in the park. Evan Koss is asking, what do I think about them bringing Peter Pan back to Fantasmic? And first of all, for those of you who haven't heard, they're bringing Peter Pan back to Fantasmic.
Yay!
That scene had been replaced by Pirates of the Caribbean. It was still the same exact idea. The Columbia comes through during the show, same spot, and there's a pirate battle. It was a pirate battle before, but instead of those pirates being from Peter Pan, they were the pirates from Pirates of the Caribbean, Johnny Depp version. I always thought that was odd because it's the live action film segment that's kind of shoehorned into a show that's all about animated characters.
I agree.
I was thrilled to hear they were bringing Peter Pan back. Why are they doing it? Because they know you're not going to be happy with the replacement that they have for Murphy the dragon. So the dragon burned up in a spectacular fire that we've talked about several times during your trip. And it's going to be replaced by now a battle between Maleficent in her human form and Mickey. And there may be some projections and other special effects and things throughout the show, but they know that guests aren't going to love it. So they're bringing back something that they were upset that went away.
It will be great to have Fantasmic back at the park. I was disappointed that it isn't on during this visit, but I do look forward to seeing it again. I watched Murphy burn live on camera from Melbourne, Australia, which was really quite shocking. I can't imagine what it would be like here.
Oh, it was horrific. It was the middle of the night for us because it was the last show of the night, but for you it would have been midday, right?
Correct.
So I stayed up all night writing about it, and you were riveted to your phone watching the aftermath. How pretty is this?
It's beautiful. The castle always looks stunning at Christmas time. In fact, I have not seen it not at Christmas time. Generally, with the timing of my trips, I'm always here at Christmas, so I've not actually seen the castle.
You've never been here in the summer?
No. So Christmas Castle is the default for me.
Well, speaking of summer coming up, we've got some new things coming this coming year. They're going to be bringing back Pixar Fest. Pixar Fest has a wonderful fireworks show that's all themed to the Pixar films. And we also have a new Pixar parade at California Adventure.
Pixar is always a great time.
The older Pixar films were pretty amazing, not as great now as they used to be, but there's a lot of good Pixar music and things. It does make it for a good parade or fireworks show.
Absolutely.
So I would love for you to be able to come back and see that. Lots of people here. They're all waiting in line for the big attraction. It's a trackless ride. It's actually the castle, folks. Everybody's just waiting for a picture. So all of those people we just navigated through this long, long line that stretches all the way around here is just to take a picture of the castle.
Certainly is a prime spot, and for good reason.
Look at this. This line is still
a
going.
lot of people.
Right? It's like they're waiting for Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway, but they're just waiting for a castle.
When we turned around and walked into this area, I was thinking that it's probably a bit too early for them to be staking out places for the fireworks.
But there are people that are already staking out places for the fireworks.
If we look over at the Jolly Holiday, we'll see that there's some lights out on the sign. It's little things like that which is not great.
Does he sound just like me, folks?
Just with an Australian accent. Oh no.
Tomorrowland. 1 minute.
I had to hold the camera way up high. There's a family headed towards me. All of them had Dole Whips, and I could just see Dole Whip hitting the camera. Yes, and now it's the Jol Holiday. Oh, not even all the H. It's just the Jol
Holiday.
The Jol Holiday.
I mean, it's kind of Cockney.
Yeah, it does sound a little bit like Dick Van Dyke, doesn't it? The Jol Holiday. Bakery Cafe.
It's a shame. Oh, we've got some flashing lights on the way.
periodically.
It's trying
It's
so
another
hard.
long line. People really like this restaurant. For years, it was just closed. And I was thrilled when they reopened it. It has a charming menu, changes up the sandwiches periodically. But it's a good place to stop and get a bite to eat and a little pastry. You have a favorite restaurant in the park?
I think the Blue Bayou is my favorite. From my very first trip, it was my very first restaurant. And on that very first trip, it took me a while to kind of realize that I was here. And it wasn't until I was sitting at the Blue Bayou that it finally dawned on me, I'm at Disneyland and this is magical. So that will always be a very special place for me.
Speaking of magic, this has got to be it for me, the holidays. There's no place else in the world, maybe other than, around the Rockefeller Christmas tree in New York City, that feels like Christmas, like this does. This is small town America, decorated in a way that most small towns could never afford to do. So this feels special to me. And of course, at the end of the street is the pièce de résistance, the tree, which is so beautiful in all of its lights. And this year they've been able to keep those lights on every night. And last year and in years before, by this point in the season, usually a good third of the tree was burned out.
Oh, wow.
They would try to fix it at night, then be lit the next day, and then be burned out again. But this year they've had pretty good string of luck. But one thing we've not had yet this year is rain, and that's coming this week. So we'll see how the park holds up after the rains.
Yeah.
There's an awful lot of electrical lights here that can easily burn out, blow a fuse in the rain. Isn't this nice? But one thing you will notice on Main Street, there are lots and lots of burned out bulbs all over the place. Just about every sign or string of lights has at least a few burned out bulbs. It's just about as bad as we've seen it in many years. Today, and you'll see the worst example of that when we get over there. We're hoping to run into somebody special at the end of our video. Not more special than you, AJ. You're pretty special.
You're a charmer.
They say that. Something that I would just love to see them do. They show the same 4 films or 6 films in the cinema every day of the year.
Yes.
I sure would love to see them do some of their holiday shorts in there at the holiday season, and at Halloween some of their scarier stuff. Lots of things from the Silly Symphonies and other movies, and it would just be charming to have a reason to go in there, pull a few extra people off the street.
Absolutely. It's a really easy, cheap, but really easy way to enhance the theme and the spirit at that time of year. So I would definitely be down for that.
The Dapper Dans,
Talented as always.
very talented, and always with their seasonal set list. We stopped and watched them last week, and they played their bells. Give me an idea, at Tokyo Disneyland, what are they doing for the holidays?
Their holidays at the moment, so they're still bouncing back from the pandemic. In the past, Christmas would mean multiple stage shows at both parks, a lot of live entertainment. Those things have still yet to return in full. There's still beautiful decorations. This year they have the tree back in World Square, or World Bazaar. So that's great to have that
World
back.
Bazaar is their main street.
That's right. So under a roof.
So look up at the lights at the top of the train station here. First, see how wavy this one strand of lights is, and then look how many burned out bulbs there are. There's even more burned out on the other side. Facing the train station for the pageantry of candlelight. And all I could see that whole time was burned out light bulbs.
Of course. Oh wow, it really is quite crooked.
Right? It's weird.
Thank you, no, I can't unsee it.
I'm ruining everything. So AJ and I have known each other for quite a while, but we've never met in person before a couple of weeks ago.
Correct.
When we met up in,
Hong
of all
Kong.
places, Hong Kong
That's
Disneyland.
right. So we were both at the grand opening ceremony of World of Frozen at Hong Kong Disneyland, which was an amazing experience. And it was great to be able to have that opportunity, for sure.
So we were just back in Galaxy's Edge, big, gigantic, massive land that they spent a ton of money building, mountains and all of these things. One gigantic ride, Rise of the Resistance, one kind of lower budget ride, Millennium Falcon Smuggler's Run. But World of Frozen really reminds me of Galaxy's Edge in a way, because it's a land that contains just 2 rides. But because World of Frozen was much smaller, tighter, better use of space with all of the shops and restaurants integrated in a way, World of Frozen felt more satisfying to me than even Galaxy's Edge, though Rise of the Resistance is clearly a better ride than what's the Frozen After? But Frozen Ever After is fun for the whole family ride.
Exactly.
Rise of the Resistance is a little too scary. What were your thoughts about World of Frozen?
World of Frozen, for such a small or compact footprint, they really packed a lot in there with the merchandise, a really great merchandise store, multiple places to eat, great desserts. The citizens of Arendelle provided really
Oh
great
my gosh,
energy.
that was wonderful. Small land, but there's people wandering around. The lady with the troll, what was his name?
Oh,
Mossy.
that's right. That was
Oh,
very
Mossy.
cute.
That was adorable. And then
Adorable.
Oaken wanders around. Periodically, the citizens would just all like stream out of the shops and go into the center of the square and start doing like dances, like Arendelle dances.
They do, and it really, really helps kind of set that place and sets the tone of the land. It is small. There is just the one main attraction, Frozen Ever After, and
then
the roller
one
coaster.
that looked like it would be a big attraction, but was really a kiddie coaster. We're going to stop for 1 second and just look at Center Street here, because in Hong Kong Disneyland, instead of the fruit cart, they have another kind of cart.
They do.
What do they have? They have waffles.
They do. That's where they hit
And
your
some of
waffles.
them were in the shape of Duffy. You can eat a Duffy waffle. But they smell amazing. So you're walking down Main Street, instead of smelling popcorn and vanilla from the candy shop, you smell these waffles. I've never wanted a waffle more in my life than I did. So I think I had 4 waffles while I was at Hong Kong Disneyland.
They are very good. And it's also wild that Hong Kong's Main Street is pretty much an exact duplicate of this Main Street, including the old lingerie shop
Yep.
to our right, now the Palm Parlor. That exists at Hong Kong. It's just a facade, but I did enjoy telling my friends the history of that location in Anaheim.
Yeah.
Even if it was so
when that
brief.
park opened, it was a mind trip. I was there shortly after it opened, and it was built to look like our Disneyland in Anaheim, our castle even, at the end of the street. But the difference is they have a real life mountain behind the castle. So it just felt different. They got a little bit of castle envy after Shanghai Disneyland opened in mainland China. And during the pandemic, they added a topper on top of their castle that made it at least two times taller, at least, maybe even taller than that. It's pretty good. They did a pretty good job, I think.
It really
So the
enhanced
base
it.
of the castle still looks like this, but then they added turrets and towers and things on top. It's wild.
Yeah, and if you weren't really aware of what it used to look like, it looks like an entirely different castle. But if you do look carefully, you can see the old castle is still there.
Yep.
It's just been enhanced, and it now represents all of the Disney princesses.
And the footprint is the same as here, so I can just imagine if they were to do something similar in Anaheim, which they won't. But one of the things they accomplished in that project of building a bigger tower was they knew they would have bigger and better nighttime shows. So they built a stadium in front of the castle.
That's correct.
And it doesn't build up, it goes down. So they dug down and they put a moat down there, but it gives them more projection area on the castle to do these beautiful projection shows. I thought their nighttime show was stunning.
Oh, it was phenomenal. It was really beautiful, and the seating area, like you said, it was really well done. You can get some really great shots of the castle, and the projections are really impressive.
So we're headed into Tomorrowland, the land of the past, because our Tomorrowland is well past a redo. You can see some concept art over there of what the front part of the land is presumably going to look like. Even you in Australia had heard about the fact that the sign became yellowed and had to be replaced. The world over, people are following this non-project because who knows if this will ever happen. In front of us is something that I'm going to stop a rumor now because you can see that they've already removed planets from there. So they're removing things from the Astro Orbiter. And I've already heard some people say they're removing the Astro Orbiter. They're going to finally put it on top of the People Mover platform where it really belongs. But I'm here to tell you all that's not what's happening. This is just how they do a refurbishment. So they take the whole thing apart. Eventually you'll see the center stick even be removed. It all gets replaced, repainted, put back together, and that's just how they do it. So a long refurbishment ahead for the Astro Orbiter. Other parks have similar versions of this attraction. They do have almost an identical version in Paris. Walt Disney World has a really whimsical version of it with bigger planets. Hong Kong Disneyland has a version where instead of being in a rocket, you're in a flying saucer.
Correct.
But it otherwise looks like this, and they've extended the theming with the planets out into the land around it. But that's all that's left of their Tomorrowland because Space Mountain now has a permanent Star Wars theme.
Yes.
And the rest of the land, Star Tours and their Buzz Lightyear, are all now Marvel themed.
That's correct. It's a real mishmash of themes. So Tomorrowland at Hong Kong is confusing.
It is. And I will tell you, as he speaks, folks, just imagine in your head what it would be like at Disneyland if they had just taken all of our rides over here and given them Marvel overlays, because that's what they've done there. Did you ride their Iron Man ride?
I did. Not as enjoyable as Star Tours.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And just one destination every time.
Correct.
I couldn't even imagine why they would take away. Star Tours is so much fun. It has humor, it has thrills, it's got recognizable Star Wars visuals. It takes you all the different planets and things that you love from the Star Wars universe. And they replaced it with this unrecognizable thing from Iron Man that just felt instantly dated and not as fun.
I agree.
I couldn't believe it.
It was a letdown. There were plans for them to go full on with a Marvel Avengers campus there at one point.
They'd even announced it.
That's correct. We have concept art, but nothing really eventuated other than a re-theme of Buzz Lightyear Astro Blasters into an Ant-Man attraction and the Iron Man experience, which could be better.
Could be better. It's a good way to put it. I was extra disappointed. Buzz Lightyear is not my favorite ride, but it is fun for the whole family and whimsical and fun. And they took that and basically ripped all the scenery out and made it scary, and now it's Ant-Man themed. Added some digital mapping in there. I hated it. I couldn't stand it.
It's the whimsical nature that is missing from it. The Ant-Man attraction feels really quite cold and sterile.
Yeah.
Although I aced it, it wasn't as an enjoyable experience as
Are you trying to tell me you were really great at the ride?
Absolutely.
I do think Disney is forgetting what makes Disney Disney. And the Disney parks experience at the end of the day should always be fun, uplifting. I think that the new Imagineers, the younger Imagineers, are in such a hurry to build these immersive environments, like Star Wars and Marvel, that they forget the one important element that the older Imagineers, even the ones who worked on Star Tours, always remembered, which is it has to be fun. And Disney has a lot of whimsy. And
Yes.
that's what's missing in a lot of today's Disney attractions. So even when they build a gajillion-dollar ride like Rise of the Resistance, it is still missing that little element of fun. I think BB-8 is the one thing in there, and the droid at the front of your ride vehicle, it really kind of feels like Disney to me. But it's overly dark and sinister and doesn't have those humor elements that it needs for me, at least.
I agree. Like the technology is amazing. Thematically, it is great, but it does lack that fun, the whimsy that I expect at a Disney resort.
Zethos Thomas says, a positive is that it's not Body Wars.
Yes.
About the Iron Man ride / Star Tours. Have you been on the submarine voyage since they changed it to Nemo and Friends?
I have, yes. I haven't ridden it this trip.
And you've been on the Virgin at Epcot in the Living Seas?
Yes.
And which of those two versions of this? So it's the same theme and some of the
is.
same sets, but completely different ride systems. So it's a unique thing in the Disney universe. Which is your favorite?
Probably the subs because of the history. That's why I ride this attraction. It's not because of Nemo. It's because of Walt built this attraction, and I know the history of it. The fleet is iconic, so that's why I ride this attraction. The Epcot attraction is cute, but while the subs can be quite claustrophobic, it's worth it for me.
Speaking of the subs, we'll just take 1 second to look at them here.
Mine.
Whose is it?
Mine.
Oh, yours. It is beautiful at night. The lighting is stunning. A lot of these videos lately, we've stopped at the Sub Lagoon because these videos are now happening at night. And for the rest of the year, it happens all during the day. But once we have daylight savings, it ruins everything. Now everything's at night. So I stopped for all the well-lit things.
It is definitely interesting with the 5 p.m. darkness. I was not expecting that, but it just means that I can enjoy the park at night time, and it's always stunning at night, even with the lighting issues in certain places.
So,
it's always nice.
Highlights from your trip so far. So you've done both parks here
Yes.
and Universal, and a few of the attractions on Hollywood Boulevard, like the
Yes.
Wax Museum and Ripley's Believe It or Not. And your highlight is obviously Ripley's.
Correct. No, no. My highlight would definitely be being here at Disneyland with you.
Oh,
It's always great to.
am I
share
the number one
experience.
attraction in all of Southern
Yes.
California?
Yes.
Oh,
At DCA, I really enjoyed Guardians of the Galaxy. I haven't been back since it opened, and I'm.
so it was your first time on Guardians?
It was.
Oh,
And I really enjoyed it. I wasn't sure what to expect. I am a Tower of Terror fan.
we're gonna go down this way real quick. We're gonna go the side route through the castle and see Fantasyland. So I feel bad because I'm taking you away from your vacation. It's his last day at Disneyland and his birthday. So during this live, we are all celebrating you.
Thank you.
I'm also showing you all the things you're not going to be able to ride now because you took an hour out of your day to do this live video. So enjoy all the things you can't see. All these people waiting for the parade. Have you seen the Christmas Fantasy Parade?
I caught a glimpse of it last night. Hopefully we can catch a glimpse of it tonight. Oh, look at that castle.
Right? Dripping in lights. my favorite views of the castle is off to the side over here by Snow White's wishing well.
I really enjoy the new fountains that have been added. It really adds.
They add a lot.
It does.
They were added for the 100th anniversary. You see some of the lights are burnt out around the bottom. My fear is that they're going to remove them when the castle lights come down. I really want them to stay forever. But Disney doesn't keep things forever, so we'll see what happens. I told Ken Potrock, the president of Disneyland, we sometimes call him lovingly Ken Potroast.
Yeah.
Because he's a man that likes to eat. But I told him that they can't ever get rid of the fountains. And I said it every time I saw him during the launch of the Disney 100 celebration. They did a lot of press events. And finally he said, I promise you that if we get rid of the fountains, they'll show up on your doorstep in a box one day.
No, they definitely add a lot to the castle. The other castles have fountains as well, so it only makes sense for the original castle to have fountains.
It also helps aerate the water. There's a lot of practical reasons why they should have that fountain. Helps keep the water from becoming stagnant. Speaking of stagnant, there's horrible gas smells throughout the park right now. Disneyland is on a septic system still, hard to imagine, but because of that, it sometimes smells like a giant bathroom everywhere. And right now, it does. It does not smell like the bakery on Main Street.
This is not a smeltzer.
No. Have you done the new version of Snow White?
I have.
And?
I really enjoyed it. It's different, obviously, but I think they did a really good job with updating it and making it a more family fun attraction. While I enjoy the scariness of the old version, it is well done.
There's plenty of scary moments in it still. There's plenty of scary moments in Peter Pan. Dark and, but I'm going to tell you the scariest moment in Peter Pan. The week before you got here, we had a little earthquake. It was just a little earthquake, but all of the attractions shut down, including Peter Pan. One attraction I would not want to be stuck on in an earthquake is dangling above London.
Absolutely.
Can you imagine?
Of all the attractions, that and possibly the Incredicoaster, I would not wish to be stuck.
Look at that. A princess. A real life princess.
Wow.
She said hello to us. Oh my gosh.
Birthday maid.
Wow.
This is my favorite Fantasyland. The other Fantasylands don't hold a candle. There's just so many attractions.
More here. I do think that Walt Disney World's version at Magic Kingdom has gotten a lot better with their Fantasy Forest expansion.
Agreed.
So you go from the hardscape of all of the brick here into a more lush forested area with bigger rides. And their Little Mermaid ride is there. Their Seven Dwarfs coaster. Of course, they pulled out their Seven Dwarfs ride and turned it into a princess meet and greet.
Yeah.
So there was give and take there. And then what's left of their old Mickey's Toontown became sort of a circus area and Goofy's roller coasters there. So it's a little bit Toontown and a little bit Fantasyland all smushed together. But ours is the largest, the most charming, the most attractions packed into the smallest space. I think we're the only one with an Alice ride.
Absolutely. The only Alice ride in the world.
There's an Alice maze in one of the other parks.
There's an Alice maze in Shanghai, but it's not based on the cartoon. It's based on the live action. Which was an interesting choice.
Now in Paris, in Tokyo, don't they have a walkthrough attraction in their castle? Or did they close that? They used to have a scary walkthrough.
They did. They had a very scary walkthrough, which I believe ended with a meeting with Chernobog.
Oh.
So that was quite a scary attraction that shut down quite some time ago. And now it is a walk through with a lot of artwork and interactive elements. It's much simpler.
They made it cuter for that audience, which really likes cute stuff. Hong Kong, same exact thing. They really like cute stuff. So anything even remotely scary had a short line. A Mystic Manor, which is one of the greatest rides in the world, was a 5-minute wait.
That blew my mind.
Meet and greet with Duffy, hour and a half.
Absolutely.
Same exact time. Space Mountain, walk on. Their version of Big Thunder, which is the big grizzly mountain, which is wonderful.
Absolutely.
Walk on. I was the only one on the train.
Wow. Yeah, the crowds were really low for attractions. Really high.
Except the ones that weren't scary, because
Exactly.
Winnie the Pooh was almost an hour long.
That's right. The only dark ride in Fantasyland.
Yeah.
Really long lines. But Mystic Manor, which is
Just a tip.
amazing.
If you're late to get a good spot for the parade, head to Small World Mall and come over here where the risers are, because you can get up high on the risers and still get a great view of the parade, usually until fairly close to parade time.
And I believe we can thank Light Magic for all this infrastructure.
Light Tragic.
Yes.
The leftover light towers that have fiber optics built in them. They spent millions putting fiber optics into the awnings on Main Street and into the facades of these towers here on Small World Mall.
I'm glad that something came out of it.
One summer and then had to abandon it all.
I do enjoy the soundtrack though, and I do give it a listen sometimes.
I still have nightmares of those troll heads.
Those faces.
Oh my gosh. Most people that are on this video don't even know what we're talking about, but when they sent the Main Street Electrical Parade away forever, they said, glowing away
For
forever.
the first time.
They even, glowing away for the first time, like Cher going away. They sold all the light bulbs even from the parade floats.
Yes.
And they brought this new parade called Light Magic that was such a tragic parade. First of all, they called it a parade.
It was.
And it had 4 floats, or 3 or 4 floats, and they were all identical. And they were gigantic.
With screens.
And yeah, they had screens.
So you could only see it from certain spots.
Right. Main Street and Small World Mall, I think, were the 2 spots you could watch it.
Yeah.
And basically the floats just positioned themselves and stopped.
Yeah.
And then these fairy creatures crawled off of the floats and started dancing to river dance style versions of Disney music.
That's right. Riverdance was. It was on its way out at that point as well, so it wasn't exactly a popular thing. So
it was so bad that it didn't even last a year. In fact, they canceled it after the summer. They didn't even say they canceled it. It just went dark. So they could retool it, and then it never came back. We knew that it was gone forever when we heard that they had taken chainsaws and hacked the parade apart so they could get the insurance money for it.
Wow.
So here we are in Toontown. Have you looked at the new Toontown yet? This is all new.
Yes, it's all new. The Runaway Railway is great.
And the rest of the land was kind of all here before, but it's all been redone. So this park is brand new, for example. They used to have trolley tracks for the Jolly Trolley, now gone.
Yep.
But at night, look, the lights are flashing up in the tree. It's all flashing to the music in the land. It's the first time I've noticed that. I really like that. This fountain does something similar. It's fully programmed to the music. So different songs trigger different effects in the fountain, which are kind of nice.
It is pretty.
Then they have Goofy's How to Play yard over there with lots of interactive elements for the kiddos. The coaster is the same as it always was. They just added a new figure of Gadget.
Yeah.
And then there is a quiet area in the back. So when you start to melt down from the heat and the overstimulation, we can take you back to the kid area and you can just sit there in a timeout.
Decompress.
And decompress, that's right. What does the wait time look like for Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway? I see the door open and no one in line out front. Was it down? No.
Lightning Lane is closed.
Oh.
So I wasn't able to use my Lightning Pass last night because it was down around the same time as well. So I wonder what's going on there.
Poor maintenance.
Happy birthday.
Bad design on. Thank you. Has it been down for a while?
About 40 minutes
40 minutes. Thank you. 40 minutes it's been down. That's sad. I do love these elements here. You notice that when they push the plunger at the fireworks factory over there, it causes the wreath to explode. You see smoke coming out? Ha!
Those great interactive touches that really make the land really fun for kids.
See, the wreath is all singed and only the lights on the bottom are lit because the ones above look like they burned out.
Yes.
Isn't that a brilliant detail? But,
that's attention to
but
detail.
these days, with all the real fires at Disney, you have to wonder if it's just a little too real. So, of course, Murphy the Dragon burned up, the train station burned up at Disneyland. Today at Disneyland Paris, their barbecue restaurant caught fire.
Don't forget the Maleficent Dragon catching on fire at the Magic Kingdom the other year.
Yep.
Lots of fire.
Lots of fire. "55 minutes for Roger Rabbit." And then stroller parking, which you haven't seen the worst of, but when this land is busy, and this is the big park that they built. There used to be a big fountain with Roger here,
That's right.
a big circular area, and they've carpeted it with fake grass. So families can have picnics. But nobody buys the picnic thing because it's very expensive, and all you get for your picnic is a little tiny orange, a little cutie, and a granola bar, and a giant plastic picnic basket.
I do appreciate that they did put a lot of thought into the accessibility of the land for this
sure.
time around.
Yeah. And it's cuter and it's more comfortable than the old version of the land, which used to be all concrete. I think the music is even nicer. I think they did a good job. It's getting ready to close, so the reason it's not as busy right now is people start clearing out of the land because they close it before fireworks. About an hour and a half or so before fireworks, they close it. And that's because they shoot the fireworks off right behind Toontown.
And you don't want to get under them.
No, you don't want the embers to hit you. And Toontown does catch fire from time to time.
Oh, really?
They're just prepared for it. Yep. Can't tell you the number of times that the roof of Roger Rabbit or Small World or Minnie's house has caught fire, but they're prepared for it. So everything's painted and covered in fire retardant material, but the fire department is ready to put things out immediately, so never really does any damage. They even had some trees that are on the backside of Small World catch fire some years ago. Went up like a torch.
That's right, that's right. That was really quite shocking, but nothing compared to Murphy.
Sadly, we're about to lose our only big show left at the resort right now. Lion King show is going to close in January. No news on what's going to replace it. They'll temporarily, 2 nights, they've got Celebrate Gospel coming there for 2 nights, but sadly, nothing coming after that that's been announced. Nothing in the Hyperion Theater right now. Fantasmic is down, so all the big stage shows are shut right now. This is the worst of the lighting situation in the park right now. Fantasy Fair gifts right here. There are almost as many bulbs burned out as there are lit. Very sad situation. It's not that far off the ground. Happy to come here at night if they give me the bulbs and I will replace them. And I'm not very handy. Look at that. That row right there where almost all of them are burned out. Oh, so sad.
Sadly, once you see it, you really can't unsee it.
Can't unsee it. We just want to keep showing it enough that eventually they get embarrassed and fix it. Very crowded over here. It's a great place to watch the fireworks. And they periodically do little shows on the facade of Small World there. In fact, it is 6 o'clock right now. I should be doing one now. Will they be doing the projection show again soon?
The next one will be at 7:45.
Oh, 7:45. Okay, thank you. So they're not doing one right now because the parade is getting ready to start. I don't know why they wouldn't do it right now. All these people waiting for the parade, which doesn't start until 6:30. But it's 6 o'clock now, so we're nearing the end of our video. See the sign on Small World just opened up, revealing a hidden light tower up there for the parade. That's a clever little bit of technology. And the parade lights just came on. So it went from dark over here to lit, just like that.
Let there be light.
And there was light, and it was LED. The Gospels of Dusty. Pretty view here. Small World Plaza. The balloons, Matterhorn in the distance. You know what? I see somebody famous that we're going to say hi to. Well, hello! Ladies and gentlemen, I want to introduce you to somebody very special. This is Garner Holt. Garner, there's a microphone if you don't mind holding it there for a second.
Hey, Dusty, how are you?
I am great. I can't believe that we spotted you. You must be getting ready to watch the parade.
Just waiting for the parade here and enjoying the festivities.
And the park is just decorated to the hilt for Christmas.
Oh yeah, love it. I just took a little video myself because it's so special. You want to remember it like this, you know.
Do you have a favorite thing for Christmas?
Just being here and watching the people and watching the lights, you know. Of course, Small World at Christmas time, and you know, enjoyed seeing our stuff at the treehouse, the water wheel and everything. That's been special.
For those of you who don't know, Garner runs Garner Holt Productions, a company that makes animatronics for theme parks all over the world, and parade floats and props and all sorts of things. And lately you've been on a roll because not only did you do Haunted Mansion Holiday, which I just rode and is just spectacular, but the treehouse, I think all of the moving things in there were you.
Yes, yeah, all the animation and the water system, the water wheel and that. And yeah, we enjoyed doing the holiday show for the mansion, you know, with Jack and Sally, and we did the one in Japan as well. So we've done 2 of those. So those are real special to me. That was one of my first big shows that I did with Disney. So
my favorite thing that you've ever done is the Radiator Springs Racers.
Oh yeah.
That is just the most charming attraction.
Oh yeah, we did 12 of the cars that you meet inside there, the animatronics, and yeah, we're super proud of that, and just really have enjoyed everything that we build here. We've been honored and happy to be able to contribute to Walt's dream.
Here's what's neat to me. You remind me so much of Walt. You're here at Disneyland, enjoying the parks as a guest, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
Just like Walt used to do.
Yeah.
And I think it's so important that designers of theme park attractions go to the parks like a guest and see what it's like. It's really fantastic to see you out and about.
Well, thank you. You know, when I was a teenager, when I started all of this, I used to watch Lincoln, but then I actually started finding myself watching the guests more than I watched the figure because I love to see the response to, you know, here's a plastic and mechanical device that looks like a human and people are responding to it like it's real. And that's what always fascinated me about animatronics.
That is so crazy that I was talking to Bob Gurr about that same thing. He helped to build that first Lincoln.
Yeah.
And he said people thought it was real.
Yeah.
They would throw pennies and things at him to get him to
a
flinch.
response, like.
And that's what you've been building. But if you had to look at all the animatronics you've ever built, do you have a favorite one? Do you have one that's really sentimental to you?
Well, you know, there's so many along the way. You know, it kind of goes by decade. I mean, Jack Skellington, he was a major piece, you know, and then obviously, we're sitting right next to the Matterhorn here. The snowman there is a big one. You know, the cars. I just rode the cars just a little while ago, and that's a fantastic piece. They keep everything maintained so well, and you know, just all of them are kind of like my children. All the things that we've made, we've got characters in almost every attraction around here. So Mermaid Ride, you know, all of that.
Yes.
You know.
Well, I'm just going to do a little plug here because I love this man. But we get to work together a lot because I'm on the board of directors of your nonprofit, the Garner Holt Foundation,
Absolutely.
which really seeks to make it possible for kids that live in underprivileged areas to follow in your footsteps and
Exactly.
pursue careers in the creative arts like building theme park attractions.
Absolutely. We're teaching STEAM through animatronics, and the kids can build kits and build bird kits and little animatronic kits, and we're taking it to schools and hospitals and seeing kids smile and learn at the same time, building these things. So it's a fantastic endeavor, and I'm proud of my people and everybody that's involved in it. And I thank you. We're honored to have you on our board. So thank you.
Thank you, Garner. I love you, man. You know
Yeah,
that.
you too.
And I'll see you real soon. Enjoy the rest of your visit to Disneyland. It's so merry. You're in a great spot for
I
it.
sure will. Well, I'm waiting for the parade. Now, I'm sure it'll be a Christmassy parade. So.
I'm sure it will.
All right.
Take care, Garner. Have a
Okay,
great
thank
evening.
you.
Happy
Good
holidays.
to see you. Enjoy your time here too.
That was amazing. AJ, you just met a legend. That is Garner Holt.
It's responsible for so much magic at the theme parks. It's really great to put a face to that name.
Wow. What a way to end a video, right, folks? We walked to the park. We talked with AJ about some Disney parks around the world, Hong Kong and Tokyo Disneyland. We got to see a lot of holiday magic. We also saw a few things that we'd like to see fixed up. I think one of the main things I'd like to see fixed up is Tomorrowland. I can't wait any longer for a functional Tomorrowland.
Absolutely.
But you don't live here like I do. So give us a takeaway. What is the thing that you are most impressed by Disneyland, and what one thing would you like to see fixed or replaced by your next trip?
Much like you, I'd love to see Tomorrowland re-envisioned, bring it up to the new century, and take down that sign, showing that 5-year-old sign of concept art saying of what's going to happen.
Yeah, what's never going to happen.
I guess my big dream is for the people mover to come back. I know that's very lofty goals, but that's something that...
Any big surprises, anything that just delighted you on this trip?
There was just so many new experiences from the last time I was here. The parks really have grown and changed quite dramatically over the past 7 years. So many new attractions. It's really hard to say exactly one. But Guardians of the Galaxy was a highlight for me. Star Wars, although the land itself is empty, the Rise of the Resistance ride, you can't deny how technology, how advanced it is. It is really quite impressive. So it was just really great to have so much new experiences and things to check out this time.
Well, we can't end the video without one last thing. Title. So we did tease Disneyland Down Under.
That's right.
What do you think?
So there hasn't been any concrete news about this, but it's definitely on the minds of Australians. Every 3-6 months, there's a news story about Disneyland coming to Melbourne, Disneyland coming to the Gold Coast. So there's definitely an appetite for it.
There's an appetite amongst the Australians for it, but I like to say that when rumors happen a lot, there is usually some grain of truth that would cause the rumor to start to begin with.
Absolutely.
And it could be that Disney is looking at buying land and talked to a realtor or met with some people to just explore the possibilities, and it causes the rumor to start. But one thing that is no rumor is Disney Cruise Line is now sailing to
That is
Australia,
correct, yes.
which indicates that they are interested in tapping the Australian market. So cruises now from Australia to New Zealand.
That's right.
And I'm excited to do one of those myself. So I have a feeling I'll be seeing you again really soon. But here's the last thing. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear AJ. Happy birthday, my friend. I hope that you're enjoying your visit, and I'm so glad that you could spend it with me here at Disneyland.
Thank you so much.
And thank you for watching, everybody. We'll be back with you again real soon. Bye-bye.